Who doesn't love some Midwest emo? And yeah. So I am here today to review the album Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me from Brand New, I think is their name. It always bodes well when I don't actually know the name of the band. Yeah, anyway, I'm here to review that album because I am starting something here with the channel, and in case you're new, hi. But, I mean, technically this is my first video, so I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing half the times. But, essentially, I'm going to do something called 1,000 Days of Music, where every day I'm going to try and review a new piece of music, and post the review of it, obviously, duh. And we are starting with, yes, fucking Midwest emo, which is always nice. I think it bodes well. I think that it's really cool. Yeah, so I actually have never listened to that album. I knew a song or two from the album. I knew specifically Archers from the Burnout Paradise soundtrack. And I knew Sowing Season. I always say Snowing Season for some fucking reason. I don't know, like, that name, just that song is running for me. But yeah, I decided, hey, you know what? Those songs are pretty fucking cool. Let's actually listen to the album. Let's see what the album is all about. And I was honestly surprised, pleasantly. It was pretty fucking decent, although, I'm gonna be honest, it was like, I know that a lot of people, at least I've seen people, like, really fucking praise this album and say that's, like, really fucking cool, especially as far as Midwest emo goes, like, one of the best. And personally, I didn't feel like that. Like, I like the album, don't get me wrong, it was a nice album, but I didn't quite feel like that, you know. And I think that it's one of those albums where sometimes I have this thing where I listen to an album, I like a part of a song, or I like a song, or whatever, and I listen to it again because, yeah, that was cool, let me listen to it again, and then slowly over time I gain, like, a really good appreciation for the album. That has happened with some of my favorite bands, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, for example. Listen to By the Way, I was like, it's nice, but, the best song is, like, Can't Stop and whatnot, and then I was like, but that song, the Toast song, that sounds pretty cool, and then I just listened to it, and then I started listening to the album again, all over again, and listened to it a couple of times, and now it's one of my absolute favorites, so I think that with this album, that's probably gonna happen, because there were a lot of things that I heard in it that I actually did enjoy quite a bit. I really appreciate, first of all, I appreciate the album being somewhat dynamic. I think one of the problems with a lot of emo albums is that they're kind of formulaic and sort of monotone to a certain degree. This album, in the beginning, felt a lot more angry, it felt a lot more, like, desperate, like, essentially a lot more aggressive. And as the album sort of went on, it sort of mellowed out into more, like, sad type songs, right? I think that, again, like, if you compare the first song, Sowing Season, with Archers, which is, like, the penultimate song, like, you would be mistaken to think, oh yeah, this is the same band, but it's different albums. Because they do sound like, again, they sound like the same, they're the same band, but they sound somewhat different, they sound like one is, a bit more aggressive, a bit more, like, out there, screamy, whatever, while the other just sounds more subdued, is more subtle, there's more sadness in it, more even acceptance in it. So they do sound different, but they're part of the same album, and that's the thing. The album just goes from these, opening tracks that are really, like, aggressive, in-your-face type thing, and it slowly mellows down into, this more sad, sort of accepting, I guess, reality type thing. And I really like that, because personally, I love albums that actually... first of all, I'm glad that I actually fucking listen to albums in order rather than listening to them on shuffle, because I do know that some people listen to albums on shuffle, but I guess because I tend to listen to sometimes concept albums, I think it's good to not listen to them on shuffle. So yeah, I'm glad about that. But yeah, I'm glad that the album has a certain dynamic to it that goes from, just angry to mellow, and throughout all of it. And one of the things that actually was a big surprise, because usually in emo you don't tend to have these types of songs, instrumental songs. Like, there's just instrumental songs in the album. Like, there's 2 or 3 songs that don't have any vocals whatsoever. And that was really interesting to me, because, again, like emo albums and emo bands are all about the lyrics and, the edginess and, fucking, and my life sucks, And so I was actually really surprised to just sit there and be like, wait, there's no lyrics in this song. What the hell? And I really enjoy the instrumentals. I actually am one of those weird people that enjoys the instrumentals of emo songs for some reason. I know there's way better instrumentals out there, but I just kind of enjoy emo songs instrumentals. I think they're part of the appeal for me, right? Is that, I mean, look, granted, they're kind of simple, I get it, right? But they're addictive, you know, it's pretty much like the lyrics. So I'm really glad to have those songs out there, and you know, it's good. I think that they made the album much more unique for me, for sure, rather than, you know, just being. I'm not against emo albums just all being about lyrics and stuff like that. I mean, 1X is one of my favorite albums when it comes to emo stuff, so, you know. But I'm glad. I was surprised, and I think that, again, like, this is going to be the type of album that the more I listen to it, because I will want to listen to this album more, the more I'm going to appreciate it, because there was some, like, unique stuff that I heard. You know what I mean? Like, there's that. It's sort of like. There's some things where you're like, well, I've heard this before, this is not unique, but then there's things that are, yeah, this is kind of familiar, but I haven't heard it before, you know, and everything is like sort of mixed in there. So I think this album, as time goes on, I'm gonna appreciate in value when it comes to it, and I'm definitely gonna go back to it. Like, this was my first time pretty much listening to the album, so, you know, I didn't have much expectations outside of the 2 songs I already knew, which were really good, honestly. Which, speaking of, Sowing Season is by far my favorite song in the album, I think. It's the right amount of, like, emo mixed with the right amount of just, like, a nice song, you know what I mean? Because you can take that song as an emo song, and a really good one at that, but just as a normal song, like a normal rock song as well, right? So I really liked that song. So I'm the most biased towards it, but yeah, I mean, given that it's the opening of the album, chances are I'll probably listen to this album more times. And specifically with that song, I think that sort of happened as well, where I really liked the beginning of that song, and then I just kept listening to it because of the beginning, and now I appreciate the song in its entirety, and I definitely think that's bound to happen someday. As far as it is right now, though, and I mean, I didn't want to, like, give scores, I guess, because I wasn't planning on giving scores, because scores are very subjective. I don't think you can quite quantify, you know, just how much you like something. I mean, you can quantify it in the sense of, like, making comparisons to it, but, like, not in terms of numbers, so I didn't think about giving it a score, but I'm gonna give it a score anyway, and I'm just gonna say, just keep in mind, this score is not like final or anything. Like, it's gonna change. I know it's bound to change. Look, you grow up, your tastes change, your life changes, and the way you feel towards things change as well. Especially music, you know. Once upon a time, Metallica was my favorite band. Nowadays, I'm not gonna say I don't like them, because they're pretty fucking good still. But, you know, they're no longer my favorite band. You know, so I discovered other things. I discovered other bands and whatnot. I discovered other types of sounds and whatnot. So your tastes change, your styles change. As a result, I won't take this score too seriously right now, because it's bound to probably go up. At least I would think this score probably is going to go up in the future rather than down. But right now, for me, it's a 7 out of 10. Definitely recommend, though, if you like especially emo. I think it's a pretty good fucking album. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow with the Blackwater Park from Opeth, another album that I really fucking love. So see ya.